Why is Indy on a Peloton?
It does look like that, doesn't he? He's getting some cardio in before he gets away from the boulder. And then we were kind of chatting before. I think it was even before David walked in, but Suicide Squad will
The
be
Suicide Squad. The
Sure.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that's right.
Sure.
The Suicide
Yeah, but
Squad.
the do
That's going to be on HBO Max though, so that'll drop.
the 5th.
We could actually potentially watch it before
Yeah,
the next episode.
we can
before
all-
the next time we record.
We can all join in.
Never watched any of them yet. Why would I start?
It doesn't
now?
matter. It's a reboot. Like it has nothing to do with the
Yeah,
other
it's a
one.
standalone.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the other one.
dude, there's
No,
a
yeah, no,
giant
but
animated shark. How can you pass on this?
It's
It's free.
Yeah, it's John
It's free because
Cena.
you're already paying for it. So,
How does that not get my ass in the seat on its own?
There you go.
well, he's got his
Well-
own spin-off show coming out of it. So you might
Well,
as
I
well.
know.
What I've been
God,
seeing,
he's such a horrible actor.
he's awful. I've literally been seeing nothing but praise for this movie, though, which is
I
baffling
agree.
to me. Based
I've
off the
heard
trailers,
something.
I was like, huh? Like, but
Yeah.
I have
Agreed.
to think that everybody's just going in. And
God
looking for
damn it.
something
We're going to
that's
talk
over the
about
top.
this in this episode because we're not.
no,
gonna
we'll
be
do it
talking
next.
about
We'll do it
anything
next
else.
week. We'll do it next
Yeah,
week.
next week,
Okay.
but probably also today.
This is pre-show banter.
Welcome to the All Pop No Culture podcast. I'm your host, Opie, and I'm joined this week by Kevin,
Hello.
Alex,
Hey,
David,
Hello.
and we are Pete-less again this week. Pete is off doing something. He has to get up early or something. He has a work thing, so he will not be here this week.
Yeah, he explained it, and I still don't understand what he
Yeah,
was saying.
yeah.
And
Well,
at first
yeah,
First
he
it was
tried.
gibberish, and then he was like, "Oh, let me clear that up," and then it was gibberish again. And I was
It's
like,
hilarious.
"Fuck, I don't know what he's doing."
It's absolute proof that he does not listen to the show because those texts he's doing voice recording. So like
Mhm.
dictation. It's like, dude, we don't understand what the fuck you're saying. There's no way Siri's gonna know what you're saying. So he has to stop and write a follow-up text of what he's trying to say. It's not the first time. He's done this many times. It's just hilarious. He probably has the window down and music on too, like an ass.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're new to the show, we're discussing our producer Pete, who is absent this week. We are a pop culture centered podcast that talks primarily about television and movies. And each week we would go around the table and talk about shows or movies we watched this week that deserve mentioning, whether to watch or avoid. And then we also will review franchises that we are assigned on a weekly basis. So like this week, I will be reviewing the third movie of Lethal Weapon on my way to number 4. Alex will be starting with High School Musical number 1. So we'll get to hear about some early on Zac Effron. David has the second installment of the Indiana Jones series with the Temple of Doom. And Kevin will not be reviewing any of his. I don't know why he wants to drag it out, but he has the 007 Sean Connery years. And he is 2 away, I
I
believe.
think, yeah, two
Yeah,
left.
two
right?
left. Two left.
Two left,
Uh,
and then yeah. Felt like you've
I'm
been
gonna
on this
say-
like
I'm-
all year. Like
Yeah.
you started at the
I'm-
beginning of the
I'm
I'm
pandemic.
gonna say I'm gonna finish it this week, but I probably won't watch any of it.
2 in a week.
That's the goal, man. That's the goal.
Damn. So you're not watching anything else?
Yeah.
Well, I think one of them was like an hour and a half, isn't it? I think the last one might be like
Probably because they finally figured out that 2 hours of fucking James Bond is too much.
but yeah, I think
Jeez.
it's yeah. Well,
Because the
new ones
the
are
first
all
couple were
over
like
2,
2.5
except for the-
hours. Yeah.
But except for Quantum, that's an hour and 45.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we look forward to that then. But before we get into any of that, we will be reviewing shows that we watched this week, and in no particular order, I guess, since I see you have the most that we can agree upon. Kevin, why don't you start off?
All right. Well, the first new thing that I watched was a show called Banshee It was on Cinemax many years ago. So I debuted in 2013. And it was Alan Ball was the creator of True Blood. And so this is his follow-up after he bailed on True Blood. And while it's not a supernatural show, it definitely has some of those Alan Ball kind of characteristics to it. The premise of the story is this guy gets out of jail. He was a master thief, and he went down for a crime in progress, and he let his girlfriend at the time escape. And so he gets out 15 years later, and he goes to track her down and profess his love for her and try and get her back. And this is the guy that plays Homelander on The Boys.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. This is his.
Yeah.
That's how I've
Yeah.
heard about it.
Is this a movie?
No, it's a show. It's,
it's a
like
show.
4
All right.
seasons. It's like 4 seasons, I think 9
Okay, yeah.
episodes a season or something like that. And so he rolls into town, tries to find her, finds out she's married. She's been married. She's kind of successful, and she's, as far as we can tell, she's out of the crime game. She's living her best life, and he's adamant that he's going to get her back. And so near the end of the first episode, he's in a bar and he meets the guy that's coming into town as the new sheriff. And the sheriff is immediately murdered by a gang of bad guys that then our main character beats the shit out of and kills. And so everybody's dead except for the bartender, who is a former criminal also. And then the main guy, I think his name is Lucas. And so
Yeah.
he decides
Lucas Hood.
Yeah. So he decides to stay in town because nobody knew who this new sheriff was. He was coming in from out of town and got hired. He decides to fake or pretend to be this guy and take his job as the sheriff. And like from there, I mean, the show isn't necessarily bad, but it requires you to just suspend the living shit out of disbelief. Like, it's just,
Oh, really?
yeah, there's just so much about it that is like kind of preposterous. That
Well,
it's
that
just,
plot point alone, that the
Right.
police wouldn't background check and verify that their new sheriff is the right person.
right,
I'm like,
right,
hmm?
yeah. So somehow they never got a picture of him or anything. Like, okay, whatever.
No interview.
Well,
No.
I mean, they preface it by he was hired by the mayor, who also just died. So a new mayor took over, knowing that a new sheriff was coming in, but he wasn't part of the process. Nobody was part of the process. All they have was a name. So, I mean, they covered, and that's how most of the things in this show kind of work, is they just kind of cover up the story with.
Did you watch
nonsense.
True Blood?
Yes, I did.
So in comparison, is there like a similar feel in any aspect?
I think if you took the supernatural stuff out of True Blood, it would feel similar.
Okay.
I think, especially to
So
the early seasons.
So the storytelling is very similar then.
I think so. It's a little darker. Like True Blood had its kind of lighter moments. This has.
I've never even
fewer
heard of
those.
this show.
Well, because
I've
it
only
was on
heard it.
Cinemax. Nobody watched Cinemax.
I only heard of it because I follow the Homelander actor on
Yeah.
on Instagram and stuff like
Anthony Starr with
Anthony
2
Starr.
R's.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And
How do you not remember that name?
true to Cinemax format,
easy.
there is a ton of boobs in this show. Like, there's just a lot of naked.
You need to lead with
people on the
that,
show.
pal.
Yeah.
Well, of course it does.
I'm
It's
watching
Cinemax.
I'm watching
Exactly,
this show
that's what
called
I'm saying.
Banshee, just tons of tits. Just tons of tits. Anyway, so the plot of the show.
Boobs. Yeah. Now to the part you don't care about.
If you happen to follow any part of the story, here's a little roadmap. Otherwise,
Yeah. So the dude's not even as big as he looks in The Boys, right? But somehow,
Yeah.
like, he just like he can take an absolute beating. At the end of every fight, he survives long enough to win, even when he gets the shit beat out of him. Like,
shit. Now I know how every episode ends.
So it's like
Yeah.
Black Widow then.
it's more like Daredevil. Like when he gets
Mm.
he gets the shit kicked out of him all the time, but he wins. But with him, like, he's a believable badass. Whereas this guy, like, it's just he's getting the shit kicked out of him, and then they like flash back to something that happened to him in prison, and then he wins the fight because of whatever he went through in prison.
And just to
there's, like-
verify, We were talking about Ben Affleck's Daredevil, right?
Yeah,
Right,
that's what I thought.
absolutely.
I thought for sure.
I wish somebody would beat the shit out of that Daredevil.
Oh, wait, I didn't. Did you say? I didn't hear him mention the best Daredevil. Did he say that? Where'd you get the Ben Affleck from? Is that? I didn't. Did you say
Eddie.
that? I heard something Daredevil. Did you say just like the guy who played the best Daredevil?
The best one.
He's also the best Batman. So
For
I'm
sure.
gonna have to go back and listen to that.
he's the
And
worst.
the
I
best
must have
Geely. Or whatever.
Apparently,
his
yeah.
name is in that.
Yeah.
As far as J-Lo is concerned, the best dick. That guy is just winning all the time, Kevin. How does that make you feel?
It's so disappointed in everyone around him.
Everyone else
Bastard.
is talking about politics. Oh, Kevo's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck was hired again.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, no, he's in the fucking new the new Matt Damon movie.
The Last
showed him in
Duel.
it. Yeah, they showed
Yeah.
up. He showed up in the trailer for that, and I was like, "No, I'm fucking out."
Well, Matt Damon's in it. Of course he's in it.
I was like, "This looks good." And then he showed up, and I was like, "Oh, never
Oh.
mind."
That does look good. The Last Duel, that looks fucking awesome.
It,
I haven't seen the
it did
preview.
until fucking Ben Affleck. showed
Don't
up.
listen to him and his hatred. It looks great.
No, it was a good name until the seventh grade and that Snow Talent ass clown started winning Grammys.
Michael Bolton.
All right, sorry.
Anyways,
Let's get back to you, Kevin. That's just Banshee. That's the first thing on your list.
I know. I didn't get anything. I started on HBO. I started White Lotus, or The White Lotus. It's it feels like a darker comedy. I don't know who directed it, but it's got Alex's favorite girl, Alexandra Daddario.
Daddario.
Yeah. It's got Stifler's mom in a very different role. I know she has a real name, but she's always just gonna be
Jennifer
Stifler's mom.
Coolidge.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a new show. It's a brand new show.
Yeah. So I've only
Yeah,
watched
Connie
like half of the
Britton's
first episode.
Now she's Stifler's dad.
Right. And then fucking what's his name that I fucking love, and for some reason I can't remember his name now off the top of my head.
Must not love him that much.
Who? Jake Lacey?
No.
Ben Affleck. It's not hard to remember.
Fred Hetchinger?
No, like a main
Murray
character.
Bartlett?
Steve Zahn.
Oh.
Steve Zahn.
Oh, Steve Zahn. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I fucking love Steve Zahn. So
yeah, he's in that. Yeah,
like he's in a
Where's
movie
he
called Happy
been?
Texas.
That's
which
what I
love.
was like, Steve Zahn. I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, he's in it. The girl from the mom from Friday Night Lights is in it.
Is this a show?
Connie Britton.
Yeah, Connie Britton. Yeah, it's a show. I don't know if it's a limited run.
It says a miniseries, TV miniseries.
Okay. It's interesting. Like I said, it's a little bit of a dark comedy. It's a little slow starting, and I'm only like partway through the first episode.
Hold on. Let me go ahead and seal the deal here for Alex. Your girlfriend Alexandria looks like finding a poolside scene.
I'm in.
Yeah.
So
I've seen movies that she's in that I knew I would despise, and I still watched them because she was in it. So I'm in.
You saw True Detective, right?
True Detective was amazing, but yes, I did see that, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Again, let's go ahead and get to the third thing, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's not on here, and it's not a big deal. But I finally finished Mayor of Easttown.
Oh,
That was, for I know we've talked about it a couple of times, but for anybody that hasn't watched it, that show is fucking fantastic.
isn't that a great ending?
It was a great ending. Now I didn't see it coming like episodes before, but like before I caught it before the reveal, but like minutes before, like things started to click. I think when the brothers were in the car, I think is when they were going fishing, I think is when I put it together. But yeah, it was really good. And then there was a couple of the regular things. I watched The Bad Batch, which this last episode was actually pretty good on The Bad Batch. I would say, like we said it before, but it has a very Clone Wars feel in that there's so much stuff that they could just leave out and still have it be a good show. And I think it'd be better that way. But this last episode was pretty good. It's leading. It finally feels like it's leading up to the end of the season. Like it's finally going somewhere. So I'm excited for the last couple of episodes. But it's always fun for me to watch because my son gets all excited on Friday.
Yeah.
You know, wants to sit down and watch it. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about Ted Lasso later. I watched that. I've watched the most recent episode of Shmigadoon. So there's only 2 left already.
Yeah,
It's already
I
almost
know
over.
it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be more than this one season. I don't know anything about it. Plans wise.
Maybe. I mean, it makes sense in the sense because you know, essentially it's a musical show, and it could be, this could be like a stage play in about the same amount of length. So it's like, you know, so it'd be fun or interesting to watch it like just straight through as
right.
You know, something like that.
No, I agree.
So
I agree. But it's such a great parody for people that were in theater and have done a handful of musicals, because they make so many references to theater and to musicals and the things that they're experiencing, and it's good. And there's some really, really talented people on there. I'm actually surprised how little Kristen Chenoweth has sang on the show. In the most recent episode, the teacher, her name is Ariana DeBose, and she doesn't seem to have a super long resume as far as I could tell. She's really good.
Yeah, she killed it.
Yeah. I love that Keegan Michael Key just refuses to sing. He's like, no, fuck that. Like,
it's one of my favorite parts. I'm curious to see if they're able to hold it throughout the whole series.
Yeah, I feel like at some
breaks
point
down
it's gonna have
for
to, right?
a song.
I'm sure the
end.
finale or something.
That's kind of what everyone's kind of leaning. I'm hoping he truly just holds out and never sings, like makes it all the way through without having to sing. That would be brilliant.
I can see him like starting a note and then just stopping and saying no.
Yeah,
that being the joke.
Well, I think one of my favorite moments was the corn pudding. Everybody's like, what the fuck? So funny. But yeah, it's a really fun show. So if you've got Apple TV Plus, it's really great. And then
it's unique too. It's just a really unique feel.
Yeah, because it leans so heavy into the cheesy like musical sets. That that you had when you did stage plays back when the shows that they're referencing were made, right? I mean, those shows are so old that you weren't putting Hamilton level set pieces out there. So it's definitely it's great. And then the last thing I watched this week was Jungle Cruise. I know Alex watched that, so maybe we'll let Alex talk about it a little bit, and then I'll chip in. Just a special.
Yeah, that's fine. So all right, well, it's quite. I think you have the most. I think as far as what you've watched. I'll just go real quick because I didn't watch much because I finished up Spider-Man, and so and then had to get to bed early a couple times this week. So I did watch those Ted Lasso, which we'll talk about, and in the movie Lethal Weapon 3. But it's funny, about a month ago on iTunes, this movie Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar is with Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
And
it's on one of the streaming services now too. It's free somewhere.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. It was on there for 99 cents, and I was like, oh, I watch it. It looked kooky, it's like kind of like like Kristen Wiig and kind of like her more kooky side from Saturday Night Live kind of characters. It's like then you might enjoy it. So I rented it, and then we just never got around to watching it. It seriously got down to the last like 22 hours left of this rental before it expires. I'm like, let's just watch it. So we started watching it, and we had to stop about midway through, but then it gives you 48 hours. Well, then we came back the next day to hit play, but because now it's free on fucking Hulu, it just took away the rentals.
Urgency, yeah.
Fuck it. But I was like, if I waited one more day, it's like I never had to. It's 99 cents. Who gives a shit? But it's like it goes fucking figures. I wait so long until it's actually free to finally watch it. But yeah, it's funny. I enjoyed the I don't know what kind of comedy you would consider this. It's almost like literal comedy, where like they, instead of it being ironic, it's like they're speaking the truth. It's just funny in this situation. It's just weird, some weird stuff. But I thought it was pretty funny. Jamie Dornan is in it. He plays kind of like the love interest, double agents kind of situation. He has some of the more funny parts. Him and Damon Wayans Jr. has a very small part, but he comes in and his contributions are pretty funny. But it's worth a watch, especially now that it's free. It's if you like. I'd also it's almost like felt like it was written by Andy Samberg, or had like that kind of feel in some of the places, which makes sense. In fact, there was a whole song where I was like, I could see this being Andy Samberg right here. But yeah, so I watched that, and yeah, that's it. I've just not been watching much. Football season's getting started, so I've been watching a lot of stuff there. I went to 49er training camp this last week, so that was kind of cool. But other than that, I have not watched anything. So why don't we move on to you, Alex?
Okay.
We talk about what you watched, because quite the list.
I mean, it's not a long list.
No, just the selections on it.
It's a very interesting list for sure. I'll just start with the one that I have spoken about before, just to go through it very quickly, which is Young Sheldon. I've finished everything on HBO, which is all the way through season 3. Which I was under the impression was all of it. I thought that they just did 3 seasons and then they were done. But apparently season 4 going. Is airing right now. It's not on HBO Max at the moment. I guess they'll probably get it when it's done.
Is that ABC?
CBS, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But I did some research because I was like, after season 3, which was great. I was like, oh, is that it? I mean, that's fine if it is, but it's such a good show. I wanted more. And they got approved for 3 more seasons, so there'll be at least 6 seasons. Okay. And they're in the middle of season 4, so it's a fantastic show. I can't praise it enough. Yes, and then of course, which we'll go through these later, but I did watch one of my fucking franchise movies, which for me is High School Musical this week, and I'll talk about that later. But after I watched it, I watched that movie Friday night. And Sam and I had already purchased tickets for Jungle Cruise, which I'll get to in a minute, for yesterday. Wait, no, today's Saturday. That is today. Jesus Christ.
And we're back.
Sorry about the technical difficulties, folks. Yeah. We've rebooted Alex.
Yeah. Alex was having what we consider a kernel panic.
Yeah, we had to install Norton in him very quickly.
Yeah. Just a quick clear alt delete, control delete,
a little defrag. But I wanted to sort of like a bridge movie for a few different reasons, and it's something that I've seen before, and I think we've all seen it before. But I had just seen Zac Efron in High School Musical, and I was seeing The Rock the next day in.
You watched
Jungle
Cruise.
Cruise.
Baywatch.
I watched Baywatch again. I was
lie. You watched it for Alexander Daddario. You didn't watch it for either one of those
of course, but also
that's just like the.
It's like a bonus for sure.
Yeah, totally a bonus.
Because I was like, all right, like it just felt right to stick that right in between those 2 movies. I don't know why, but I mean, we've talked about that movie ad nauseum. I love that movie. Like even still watching it again, it's hell of stupid. But
we've talked about Baywatch ad nauseum.
I feel like we've talked about this.
We've talked about it before. Yeah.
You have?
Like more than once for sure.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. It's great. Like it knows exactly what it is.
So here we go again.
Yeah. This is the.
We've talked about it ad nauseum, so let's add to the nauseum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, it's one of those ones that you have to appreciate.
Yeah,
I can see why people don't like it if they don't appreciate that kind of humor, like making fun of itself completely.
Yeah, because that movie knows exactly what it is, which is impressive in its own right. If you're gonna make fun of yourself, go all in.
and you know what it is watching it within the first 5 minutes. Like when he comes out of the ocean and the logo pops up behind him and shit, and you're like, that's what we're doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's fun. But
it's so funny, but seeing seeing pictures of The Rock now, look how small he was in Baywatch.
Yeah,
I know, right?
It's fun. I mean, he's still enormous in Baywatch, but yeah, he just gets more. I feel like they just shoot him with wider lenses every movie he's in because it's ridiculous.
Has any of us ever seen The Rock anywhere, like in person at anything?
I've seen Hulk Hogan in person, but not The Rock.
I've seen Jason Momoa, but not The Rock. I'm just curious to see like if he's got a. Oh,
you saw Lou Ferrigno?
Yeah,
I
just stood right next to him for like 5 minutes. Nice guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, not nearly as big as I expected him to be.
Oh yeah. I've seen him as well. But all right.
But yeah, so I'll just get to Jungle Cruise.
Yes.
And then Kevin and I can kind of riff on that. I won't go too deep into it.
No, it's okay. I mean, my family's seen it. I'll probably watch it. It's something I would probably I would go see it. It looked, I kind of like feel like I know I'm getting into, and it could go either way. But
I went in with about, I don't want to say low expectations, like medium expectations. I didn't expect much, same. But I also didn't expect it to totally tank.
Yeah,
and I mean that's about what it was for me. I mean it was fun, and I will say all the actors who were in it looked like they were enjoying themselves. Regardless of
true.
Regardless of the plot
and that's what's important, isn't it?
I mean, to a degree, yeah. I mean,
as long as those kids are out there having fun, and it's all
making millions.
When this movie started, I actually started getting really excited because what it felt like to me was a Disney-fied version of Indiana Jones, like blatantly a ripoff of Indiana Jones, like just the tone and
the rolling ball,
even
idol.
The villain. So this takes place 2 years into World War One, and so they're like essentially Nazi villains, not exactly, but you know what I mean, like
German,
German villains, and it's I
didn't say know. German.
Is that a word German that I can say? No.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, you say German,
I'm part German, so whatever.
Yeah, it implies villain. So
right. But yeah, it really gave me a lot of indie vibes very early on, but it quickly sort of shifted into more Pirates of the Caribbean vibes, and not like the first movie, probably more like the fourth movie.
Like this was the original sequel of the last movie, and they decided to just make a Jungle Cruise.
Not as bad as the third one, but it's not as good as the first one. Like like it definitely it got a little nuts, like to the point of being pretty fucking silly at times.
Yeah.
Is it like the ride though?
There are parts.
Funny. Yeah, there are definite. Especially in the beginning, there are definite references to the ride.
He says jokes that are straight from the ride.
100%. Yeah,
which I found really fun. And he tells some that aren't part of the ride, which were great. The cross-eyed girlfriend joke, I laughed out loud for 5 minutes. That shit was so funny. But yeah, that was Jungle Cruise. I should preface this, is one of my favorite rides. I know it's not anything amazing, but it's just such a fucking chill, like, especially when you've been walking around Disney all day long, just sitting and there's just trees and nature around you. It's such a nice vibe. And then, the skippers telling their dumb jokes and you kind of just like chuckle to yourself.
Isn't that Pete? Every time I see them, I'm like, that's Pete, dude. That is
Pete. All the skippers. Yeah.
Yeah. He'd probably have a shot if he wasn't probably masturbating from being so happy to have that job every time he gets there.
Right.
Dude, that'd be his. Absolutely, I could totally say he's like, you don't even have to pay me, and I'll do this.
Yeah. But I mean, it's definitely fun. It's a great family movie for sure.
Yeah.
The actors, they're doing what they can with what they have material wise, and some of it works, and it doesn't.
And
But
nobody comes across as a bad actor though, right? Like it doesn't.
no, not bad.
For
no.
the things that aren't working, you're not blaming the actors for it.
Paul Giamatti a little bit, if I'm being honest. I wasn't
sort of
impressed with
because
him.
he's so over the top, right?
Yeah,
He's
a
so
little
cheesy.
Much. Paul Giamatti's in this, by the way.
Yeah,
this is
Yeah.
him,
Yeah, he's
right?
got
for
the
like
bird on his
7
shoulder.
total minutes.
Yeah, he's literally. I don't even know why he's in the poster. He's barely in it, but
Oh, okay. Is he? Yeah. When I love Paul Giamatti, but
I do
too. When in certain films or roles, when he has to be, it's like he's already animated when he's just himself. When he has to amp it up, that's where it gets a bit too much.
Think about him as the Rhino from Amazing Spider-Man 2, but with an Italian accent, and you're basically.
I've not seen that.
Well, there you go. For anyone who has, you're welcome.
No, I have not seen that.
That's my general thoughts on it. It's definitely fun. It's worth a watch. I don't know. I mean, I paid $5 for it because I have AMC, like the A-list club or whatever, and I had a coupon. So it was $10 total for both me and Sam, which was cheaper than if I stayed home and did Disney Premiere. So I was like, why the fuck not? So it was definitely worth. It's a $5 movie for sure, but I don't know.
I might go see it some Tuesday night then.
Yeah, it's definitely a Tuesday night movie, I think. But I've talked a lot about it. Kevin, if you want to chime in a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think we think pretty much the same thing. I think the story was iffy. I mean, it almost feels like they took I was actually waiting for some point for like the pirates to cross over, right? Like just
it did heavily feel like a Pirates
really.
Movie.
It really, really did, and especially in the beginning, there was a lot of stuff that was a little like unbelievable for a movie that felt in the beginning felt a little more grounded than a Pirates movie,
for sure.
And then it went off the pirate rails, and then it's not real anymore at all.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of things there's a lot of things that feel like they were taken from Pirates movies.
Yeah, it did make sense that Barbosa was there. That was weird.
Dude, honestly, if he had showed up, I would have been like, oh yeah, all right.
That makes sense.
Okay, so it's a crossover.
Yeah.
It's a crossover.
Well, the villains are straight up basically Davy Jones' crew. Like it's like they don't even try 100%. To hide it. Like they're all different versions of this or that, and they're not sea creatures this time, but they might as well have been. Like it's CGI
they're swamp creatures,
ghosty people. Like
and that's the thing that bothered me the most with the budget that this movie had is that I wish the leopard had looked a little better.
The leopard was cool, but yeah, I agree.
It just a little too CGI looking.
Well, the problem is what they made the leopard do. It was basically a cartoon character. So even if they made it look real, it would be doing unbelievable things, and you're like, all right,
yeah.
But
I mean, it was entertaining. It was like Alex said, it's great for kids. If you're going to see it with your kids, it's fantastic for that.
I forgot. Did you see it in the theater?
No, I hadn't done a Disney Plus Premiere Access or whatever it's called, but I realized today that if you do that, once you spend that $30, you have it forever. It's not a rental. It's not like a 2-day rental. You have it until it becomes free. So
that movie or Disney, like
that
Disney
movie.
Premiere. Oh, okay.
No,
I thought you meant it was like you just have Disney Premiere. I was like, what the fuck? I'll do that right now. That's crazy.
Buy one, get them all.
That's what I thought he meant.
That's a hell of a deal.
Yeah,
but like
I see what you mean.
For us, if we're gonna watch it as a family, for the 5 of us to watch something, now granted, I'm sure it would have been fantastic to watch on the big screen. It is an adventure movie, right? Some of those set pieces and some of the things that you're watching happen, I think, would look pretty great on a movie screen. But
yeah, a little bit kind of like a Transformers movie though, and at times where when it's so big and stuff is happening so quickly, you're kind of like, what's going on? Like it's sometimes almost easier to follow some of this shit on a smaller screen because you don't have to like look around as much.
Yeah.
Like some of the action scenes were a little indecipherable, like what was actually going on. Not as bad as Transformers, but
yeah.
And
I'm always amazed by movies where The Rock is very action oriented, because I'm like, man, they make him out to be really agile, and for as huge as he is, I can't believe that he can actually do some of the things that they have him doing in the movies.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson can do whatever the fuck he wants.
That's true.
Well, obviously he can.
Have you ever seen him come off the top rope? I mean, he can fool as agile as fuck. You know what I mean?
So you watch your tone there, mister.
Hey, look, if he's in front of me, I guarantee you I'll watch my fucking tone. Like I could rip me in half.
Yeah.
Just grab me by the shoulders like a
no,
fucking
he'd do it.
phone
He'd
book,
do
just
it from the butthole. He'd rip you from the bottom up.
Oh wow.
He
Yeah.
totally could.
Wishbone.
Totally could.
Wishbone.
Yeah. So yeah.
You just got
I'm
wishbone, jabroni.
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 But I still would give it a recommend. Oh, you know what's crazy actually? Because I basically live in fucking Disneyland. They had Disney reps outside of our theater giving us surveys for the movie after we got out of it. And like intense ass surveys, like all the characters, like what did you think of each character? Like, how did you hear about this? Would you recommend this? Which trailers did you think you might see movies for? I was like, I just did it because, you know, why not? It's 2 minutes of my life. But actually, it was more like 10 minutes because it was very long. But it was crazy. Like, they're really trying to, I think, like, peg down, like, what are people liking these days? Like, what's the demographic and what do they really want to see?
Speaking of pegging, it did have its openly gay character in it.
It did. Yeah, they drove that home. And then, you know, just to take one step forward and then 2 steps back, The Rock is supposed to be a Spanish man in this movie.
That's
so
right.
That definitely, I'm like, brown doesn't mean all brown, but whatever. You know, you tried with the gay one, I guess.
Spanish?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, like geographically speaking, I think
like from Spain?
From Spain.
Yeah, so like the Samoan Islands in Spain are about as far from each other as you can get. You know?
That's what I mean. They're just like, hey, we have a gay guy in here and we're not hiding it. And then The Rock is from Spain. And you're like, you're almost there, Disney. You almost made it.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah,
whatever.
But yeah, I agree.
Where's Emily Blunt from? Is
London.
she supposed to be from Brazil?
Yeah,
she's from Argentina, actually.
She's Asian.
Yeah.
Hong Kong.
No, I hope they never make that mistake again.
I feel so bad for Jack Whitehall because he is not featured in any of the trailers. His name is not really on anything, and he is a very significant part of this movie.
Yeah. I didn't.
You see
I didn't
him
know...
down here, like in the corner, but like he's
I didn't realize
her
he was
brother.
in it at all.
Yeah, and they're on the whole journey essentially together, and I'm like, he is getting sidelined so hard. Like, I know Rock and Emily are their star power, but
I wonder if
but
that's
he was
just
good in it too.
I bet he has more
fun.
in the UK. I bet he's more on the promos.
Oh, that might be
UK.
true. The marketing over there might be different. That's true.
Yeah. So,
but
I wouldn't know who he is unless I watched Graham Norton.
100%. That's 100% true.
So,
well,
you're saying something, Kevin?
Probably, but I don't know what it was.
Sorry.
He's like, so this week I watched Banshee. Like, no, you already win.
No. It just starts over.
Yeah.
Just starts over. I don't know. Let me just quickly. Banshee.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Tons of titties.
So you're done.
Let me tell it the right way this time.
Let's go ahead and just sum up.
Do over.
Yeah, when I do the recap of the episode at the end of this episode, I'll just mention that. All right, David, that leaves you, sir, with your week of watching.
Well, we covered Shmigadoon.
Yes.
I'm also caught up with that, and I find it fantastic. I can't wait for the rest of it. Also Ted Lasso, which we'll be talking about. I then also, my daughter expressed interest and Kevin was fairly convincing. So we watched all 3 of the Fear Street trilogy, which is that horror film trilogy on Netflix where they ran them a week apart. And holy crap, that is a good series.
Right?
We watched 1 and 2 back to back, boom, boom. And then the next morning we woke up and we watched 3. And it tells a hell of a story. It's and like they do brilliant stuff. Like the 94 movie is very much like a Scream movie. The villain is like, as soon as you see them, you just think villain from Scream. Like it's like cheap villain from Scream ripoff. Like, and then the film runs very similarly, like same kind of plot points, same kind of feel, same tone. And then when they
scary.
I definitely would not call any of them scary. They're more of the slasher movie type than the scary, like haunting type, you know?
Yeah, it tells. I mean, it's a horror film, but it's not scary. It tells a good story through people getting cut up and stuff, and even the gore is fairly toned down. It's not that bad, other than the girl who goes through the bread slicer, which we've
which I fucking love.
Yeah, that shocked me because she was a fairly major character, and
it didn't seem like it seemed like she was gonna come out of that. You know,
I thought so too. I thought her and the guy who both ended up buying it, and I was like, what? And it's just the first movie, and and then it goes from there. And then the second film in '78, it runs just like a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah,
it's really cool. And then the third movie in 1666 is basically the Crucible.
It's like a 1666 movie.
Well, it's basically the Crucible, but with kind of a what if this happened instead kind of thing. So it was very cool. I would highly recommend them. It was fun. It told a good story. The acting was good. It was tight production. They did a very nice job.
Yeah, and I would say, if you're nostalgic for horror at all, I think that's where the magic really is. It's
I'm
doing
not even
horror
nostalgic
in old school
for
ways.
horror. I've seen a lot of horror, but I'm not a big fan. But I'm always friends with people who are, and my daughter is, so I end up watching them anyways. But if you have any horror knowledge at all, there's a lot of really good stuff to be.
I wonder if Michelle has seen it.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what she said. Yeah,
I have to ask her.
But yeah, so I would recommend those. And then the final thing, we went on Thursday night. We got a pretty good group together, very last second, and saw the new movie, The Green Knight, on the big screen.
Seeing positive headlines.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things, but a lot of positive.
I love the look of the trailer, but all the reviews are great that I've seen.
So I will say this: this movie is not for everybody.
Yeah, I figured. I had a friend who was like, "It's long and boring," and I was like,
"This movie is not for everybody."
Yeah,
I loved this movie.
It looks cool,
gorgeous. It is truly stunningly beautiful. Most everything in there is practical, and it looks it. And this is a no frills tale of a knight's journey, and that's what it is. Like, the boring parts are boring, and they're supposed to be boring but this movie does beautiful stuff. The camera really, really takes its time to allow you to take in what's happening, because there's so much happening in this movie at any given time that you kind of need it to run at this pace to take it all in.
It gave me vibes from the trailer of something like a Pan's Labyrinth or something.
Yeah, it does. Exactly, and it's very like that. It's very kind of otherworldly.
Right.
I think would be how I would describe it. Like, even though it's meant to be our world in the past, it doesn't feel the same. It feels different.
Yeah.
Like, there's this one gorgeous shot where he's just going through the countryside, and up on the hill is this just absolutely enormous, like, aircraft carrier size skeleton just sticking out of the side of the hill. Right. And, there's what would make that other than maybe like a dragon or something, but nothing that's actually in our world. And it's just a set piece in the background as he's riding down the trail, so it's beautiful stuff like that. But I really loved this movie. I think a majority of the people in our group were positive towards the film. I think some of us really loved it, and others were like, it was okay. I don't think anyone outright hated it. My wife did not go. She was helping our friends move.
How long is it? It strikes me as a long movie.
It's 2 hours.
Long. Okay,
it's
2 hours.
It's just flat 2 hours. Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad.
But it's a full 2, apparently. A full 2.
Yeah, they cram a lot in there. I saw it at 10 o'clock at night. So like, we saw it fairly late. and afterwards at midnight, no one was like woozy or drowsy. Everyone was alert and excited and happy.
Cool.
And this movie is very stylized.
Yeah.
Like you said, it kind of, for me, one of the things I was excited about it is it reminded me of Guillermo del Toro, because like you mentioned, Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like his work, and so I was drawn to it. It was good. I could talk at length, and I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah, I do want to watch it. Is it only in theaters or is it streaming anywhere?
I don't know, but you have to see it on the big screen.
It's a theater movie. Okay, that's no problem.
It's like the vistas and the scope and the scale of this movie, because it is an epic film, right? Like it's just like you have to see it on the big
Maybe
screen.
I'll go Tuesday. I think we have $5 Tuesdays here too.
Yeah, I was just looking. I might consider that. But actually, I was thinking about maybe going to see Jungle Cruise.
I'll probably go see Jungle Cruise this week on Tuesday, or maybe Snake Eyes if I'm feeling like.
Ooh, that's getting kind of bombed on.
Oh, I'm sure, but for $5, I could waste 2 hours.
You know what though? If that one was on HBO right now, I would totally watch it.
I'd watch it for free.
HBO Max, yeah.
Yeah, I've got enough that
I'm curious enough. I like the cast, so
yeah.
I mean, should I watch?
I'm sure it's going to be terrible. I will come back and I will roast it, but
that's kind of the reason I watch bad movies these days, is to roast them on the show.
Yeah.
I watched.
That's why I watch anything, knowing that if it is bad, at least I have something good comes of it.
No, the only reason I would watch something bad is because
you spun it on a wheel.
Yeah, pretty much. Or it's like like when me and Kevin went and saw Venom. Like I knew,
or Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator.
It's not that bad.
Or Godzilla. Yeah, it's like I knew.
Also not that bad.
I saw it. But your guys' definition of bad and mine are vastly different, I think, in some cases. But yeah, it's just, but something like that, like the Fast and the Furious, that's why it's like, God damn, that's the one I do not want to get on that wheel.
I'm truly hoping you get it.
Between that,
especially this most recent.
Dude, I'll take Police Academy.
I would take Police Academy.
I'll take Friday the 13th.
I was gonna say Friday.
Yeah. I'll take, because those I know. It's like I know what it's just like. It's ridiculous horror over and over. The other one is gonna just knowing. Yeah. In fact, it's so funny. I don't know if anyone here listens to Conan Needs a Friend.
I know what it is, but I've
actually been intrigued.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, it's a great. I've listened to every episode.
Nice.
But recently, I don't remember who his guest was. He was talking about something, and he said that he just saw the most recent Fast and the Furious, and he is fascinated by the series because of its ridiculousness. Like how and he's kind of like making fun of it, kind of like to the point of like almost made me feel okay if I ever have to watch it, just accept that. But I'm like, no, I just cannot do it. But it's just funny that he was talking about that randomly.
The first two movies are exactly what you like. They're just like racing movies.
First one's fine.
First one's fine. It's not great.
Second one's not that bad. It's not awful.
I remember.
Then the third one, they try something totally different, and it doesn't really work at the time. I think that movie ages well, though.
Is that Tokyo Drift?
That's Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
And then 4, they decide, you know what? We're going to clean this all up. I'm trying to sell you on this franchise here. And then 5, they just decide they're going to be a new Bond franchise.
I'm standing on the other side of a car as a guy's trying to sell it to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just came here to use the bathroom.
No, man, you're going to love this series when you get on the wheel.
Oh, my God.
Don't worry,
from 5 on, it's just madness.
No.
Absolute
madness.
Madness.
It's just stupid.
No.
It just gets ridiculous.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'll probably get
Hobbs and
it.
Shaw,
9
the Hobbs and
just
Shaw
didn't work.
spinoff should tell you what happened to that series.
Dude.
Like without even watching it, just seeing the trailer for that.
Just the trailer.
You'll hear it in a minute. I watched Lethal Weapon 3, which is a movie I had liked, and it did not age well. I can't imagine any of these Fast and the Furious, even the latest one, probably is not aging well.
I'm sure.
So let's. I guess we're done with our week recap, and why don't we go and dive on into the franchise talk? So, David, why don't we start with you?
All right.
So we go through the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which I imagine everyone has seen. I know everybody here has seen.
Been a
it.
while, but I've
it's been a minute, but yeah.
It's been a very long time for me. And I will say that I went into this remembering not really liking it, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. It's way better than I remember it being. I'm more excited to watch it again in the future. There's some good stuff. There's some slow parts in it. I mean, I understand why as a kid I was like, what the fuck? But
where's your whip?
Yeah.
Shoot someone.
The star of this film, in case anyone hasn't seen it in a while, is Short Round.
For sure.
Because that little guy saves Indiana Jones like 5 times, and not like little saves, like fucking Indy's dead if Short Round doesn't get in like 5 times. Also, Short Round does like the coolest stuff throughout the movie. Like he ends up swinging across things on ropes. He has the cool ladder trick that he does. He's the one who ends up like riding up the there's like a water wheel. He like grabs onto it and like he's doing all the cool tricks and swinging and swashbuckling stuff that like Indy's kind of known for. It's all being done by Short Round, and instead of bringing that character back and making him the new Indiana Jones, they eventually decide to go with Shia LaBeouf. I don't get it.
Well, we don't know. We don't know
what's
going on though.
I don't feel like he's ever coming back.
I don't think he's in this next one.
Yeah, I think he's done.
But that had been their plan.
That was the plan. That's true.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, then
failed
Shia
so
LaBeouf
profoundly that
Then he lost his fucking mind. So they were like, I mean, we're not going to do that.
I think it was a combination of the two things.
Yeah.
But so anyways, this movie was great. Kate Capshaw is lovely, but her character's like annoying as hell.
She's the one who screams all the time, right?
Yeah.
She got the job because of her husband. So.
She was fine. I thought she did fine with the character. The character's just poorly written and is dumb.
Stupid.
I mean, it's Lucas,
character,
so what do you expect? But
wait, George Lucas has a fundamental understanding of women. Please.
That's true.
That guy pulls. Yeah. And then so
that's the one thing. Yeah, that's the one thing. Especially Lucas now. You look at him, you go, he fucks.
Yeah.
Him and Jarrett on Silicon Valley. So she's fine. Her name is Willie. Like that's her character's name, Willie, as in like a dude's dick. You're like, okay, cool. Her name is Willie. It's a dumb name. They mostly just refer to her as like, hey lady, because her name's so stupid. The beginning of this one is not anywhere near as iconic as the beginning of the first one.
No.
It's actually pretty lame. There's a huge fight and Indy's poisoned and is useless and it's just chaos. And then Short Round, of course, saves them. There's the jumping out of the plane with the raft and surviving that whole thing. It was as ridiculous now as it was then.
Fully believable though. I'm like,
not as ridiculous as the fridge and the nuclear explosion. So,
well, we haven't gotten that far yet.
Hey, how awesome will it be if this new one starts off with Indy waking up from a fever dream, which was number 4.
Which was the second one, no longer
fucking aliens.
I mean, they tried to do that with Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I wouldn't put it past them.
I read an article today saying that they're trying to lose the whole trilogy, and they're going to re-release the new ones on Disney Plus.
I just don't buy that.
They're literally going to retcon it. They're gonna say it didn't happen and do it over again.
What
can't
trilogy?
Believe that.
What?
Yeah,
what?
I don't.
I read that article
7,
just
8, 9.
today.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times, and I don't buy it. I don't think that.
I never bought it either
because they're saying it's Filoni and what's his name doing it? Yeah, and Favreau doing it, and I'm like, it just doesn't. I don't think Favreau would step on the toes that he'd be stepping on to do that.
I don't know. At
for
this
any other
point,
reason.
Favreau can step on whatever toes he wants to. Between Marvel and
He
Mandalorian,
can.
Favreau's like
He can, but I don't think professionally. I don't think he would. That's a lot of people, and not just that, but you're taking the careers of some young actors that really were not the problem with those films.
I don't see how they could do that. I mean, there's just too much continuation of the storyline.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but they were talking about, the article I read said specifically that they had a scene that JJ shot in which Han, Luke, and Leia all get back together, and that they would.
Well,
they
you
would
can't
bring
do that
that
now.
scene back. No,
Yeah,
like the
Carrie
scene
is
was
gone.
shot apparently.
So it's just gonna be
it's
that
in the
one scene,
can,
and
just-
that's it.
It wasn't.
It's going to be the
used.
whole new trilogy.
Well, they're
Just
going to work
scene.
that in and other stuff as well.
Honestly, there'd be some fanboys who would be happy about that. Like, that's what I wanted all along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting. I only believed this one for what I do believe, because it had so much more detail than the other ones did. I mean, it could still be totally bullcrap, but I don't know. I just read that today, but that's been a constant rumor. But we're way off topic because we're supposed to be talking about Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So, basically, Indy discovers that they're trying to resurrect like the Indian Empire, get it back from the British. And so they're doing human sacrifices to an old god. And Indy's in it. He doesn't give a shit that they're doing human sacrifices. He just wants the stones because,
They belong in a
glory.
museum somewhere.
That's right. But of course he has to, in the course of things, save it. So Indy gets shirtless. He's not the best shirtless Hank on this show, but it's not so bad. He's doing pretty good for himself.
Yeah, he's looking nice right there.
Yeah.
I wish I looked like that.
Yeah,
no
seriously.
kidding, right?
He looks almost as good as me. Yeah.
So
Almost.
I look
Yeah,
more
so
like
basically-
Indy now.
Indy gets saved by Short Round again, and then they save Willie from burning to death. Although, if we're being fair, she was toast. Like, she was way too close to molten lava. The temperature down there would have just cooked her ass. But
Burst her into flames like Anakin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen
Did
what
not
happens.
have the high ground.
Yeah.
So, and then they fight their way out, and they end up having, like, I had totally forgotten about the mine cart chase scene, and how Disney hasn't turned that into a ride is beyond me, because like there's all kinds of cool stuff happening in that. Like, all they have to do is copy it from the film. That would be a rad ride. And
That's the one they did with a miniature, right? Like, that whole minecart ride was a miniature that they put the camera on. Yeah.
I will say this: the special effects in this movie do not hold up. The matte work and the green screening is awful. It's
what about
really
the heart part?
That part still looks great.
Well, that's why Raiders is so timeless, because there's very little of that in that movie. A lot of it's practical.
It's all
like there are a couple scenes, obviously, like the opening
lightning
of the arc
coming
and
out of
stuff.
the box. Yeah.
But even that with the faces melting was all practical, just sped up, which is why it looks so good. So
this one, it had a lot of camera tricks that did not work. They did not age well. So
it's been a while since I've seen this one.
Indy makes it out in the end. With the help of Short Round, they return all of the children to the village that sent them on this mission to begin with. They just happened to be here when they had to jump out of that airplane.
Lucky.
So you know what? I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I'm glad I watched it again, because I usually tend to avoid this one. I just watch one and then just jump right to 3, because there is no need to watch it. There's no callbacks to this film ever.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm curious.
It's kind of ignored.
They were running from somebody when they ended up in India, and then they did this whole adventure. What do they mention? What happens after? I don't think they really talk about what happens after.
I mean, after this, basically, like Willie tells Indy, like, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want to trek back to Delhi with you. You drive me nuts. And
he whips her around the waist, right? Doesn't
he whips her around the waist and drags her over and kisses her, and in a very James Bondian.
I was gonna say,
but she's totally into it. She smiles and is like, "Oh, you rapscallion," kind of thing, and that's at the end of the movie. So But yeah, but she's never seen again. I believe last week someone said that they've, retroactively made this one a prequel.
It's a prequel, yeah.
Which actually works.
Yeah.
That would actually be a better.
But what happened to Short Round? Like, that's the big question. He
didn't make
such
it.
a huge takeaway from this film. Apparently
AIDS,
not. Ouch. Poor Short Round.
Wow.
He went to school.
He
went to
yeah. So yeah, that one's all done. The best of the trilogy, as far as I'm concerned, is coming up next. I'm
Agreed. Yeah, it's really well done. Really well done.
It is really good.
I'll usually just watch that one because I like the first one, but because like I would, if I start watching the first one of any franchise that I like, I'll generally just go through it.
Right.
And I can't, the last one of this one, I just can't do it. So like, if the next one that comes out, which I imagine I'll see if initial reports are good or if the trailer looks good, which I could not imagine the trailer looking good.
No, I'm gonna see it regardless.
I know you're gonna see it.
Yeah, I'll definitely see it.
Yeah.
It's just I imagine
again, if it's bad, I got something to make fun of.
I imagine that'll be like a perfect example, a movie that like looks really bad, but I'm gonna have to see it. It's just I like Crystal Skull. It's like, yeah, it's horrible, but you kind of have to see it if you've never seen it to really appreciate just how bad it really is.
Yeah,
I've only seen it the once, and
me too.
I'm actually kind of a little bit looking forward to seeing it again to see if it is as terrible as I remember.
Oh, it is.
Or if I was just so mad at it at the time.
I remember sitting there in the theater. That was the first movie that me and my wife went and saw after we had our first child. Like the first time we were able to get away for like a couple hours.
And that's
the fucking thing. Well, it was.
It's whatever was there. Yeah, of course. I know.
Well, it had just come out as well.
Yeah.
And so we're like, oh, we can be in the know and all this stuff. And so I remember
the trailer didn't look great. It looked cheesy and stupid, but I went into it with low expectations and didn't expect the movie to get like a backhoe and start digging. Like,
even that, yeah, for sure. I just remember sitting there as the lights come up, just kind of looking at the screen, just like, what the fuck? Oh yeah. So I imagine going in with those. I seriously, even going in with those expectations for the next one, I can't imagine it meeting them.
Yeah,
they
we'll see.
They should just take this one behind the bar and shoot it. Because this franchise.
But what if it redeems?
How?
No way.
What?
No way.
I mean, unless they
redeems Crystal Skull, just redeems the indie.
What if they de-age? Do they de-age him throughout the entire movie just to kind of get him back to what he was a little bit?
No, he's just going to be ancient, and I don't know that it's going to be interesting to watch geriatric Indiana Jones.
No, it won't be.
So and they tried the whole son thing, and they fucking bombed that. So they can't use that bit of storytelling now. You'll have a daughter this time. Watch.
Imagine Karen Allen is not reprising her role.
Oh no, I'm sure they'll bring her back and Kate Capshaw, but Short Round will
a love triangle.
Yeah.
Threesome.
Yeah. They should they bring them all back. Can you imagine?
An opportunity to say goodbye.
India. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, second installment.
Sort of
coming up. Yeah.
We went off on so many fucking tangents right there. That was ridiculous. Yeah.
Yes,
I think we just
talked about Star Wars for a while.
we talked for like 15 minutes and 3 of them were about Indiana Jones.
Yeah. All right. Well, since I really want to hear yours, Alex, I will go next with mine of Lethal Weapon 3.
You want to hear mine, but you're going to go first? I don't.
Yeah, I just want to get
the finale. He wants to tease it.
Yeah, I feel like yours is going to be better than mine.
I don't know about that.
Let's put it this way: I'm looking forward more to hearing your review because I've never seen what you've seen. So
I thought you had because of your girls.
No, they have seen it.
You've like heard it in the background or whatever.
Yeah, passing by, but I have not sat down and watched it.
Good choice.
And basically, the only thing I know about it is from South Park, and so I'm curious to hear, what your thoughts are. Anyway, so I'm more excited to hear your review of your movie than I am for you guys to hear my review of this movie. So, Lethal Weapon 3. As explained in the first two, it's kind of, you gotta have to suspend disbelief in who these people are and why they even exist. I remember, I don't remember at any time when I watched it originally having to do that. So I don't know if just I've gotten older, I'm just getting less and less patience for certain things. But yeah, having said that, like I like this movie. All four movies I can appreciate, I would say enjoy versus dislike. But I would say this one is probably my least favorite of the four, with a few redeeming qualities. So here's basically the story. Now, I wrote this down. I have like halfway through the movie, I was like, you know what? I should be writing down what's going on in these moments, because this is really, it doesn't make sense. So I wrote it right after, and I kind of hit all the highlights that I could. But basically, the movie opens with a bomb sighting. Someone's calling a bomb threat or whatever. And in comes two homicide detectives. I'm like, why are they even showing up right off the bat? I'm like, but they even make note of it. Like this, there's an officer there going, what the hell is homicide doing here? And Riggs says something like, oh, the night's early, or it's, the night's young or whatever. It's just like, okay. So Roger mentions that he is 7 days from retirement. So, okay. So he's 7 days from retirement in this moment. Riggs thinks he can
I feel like that's the key point of the whole film, is that he's 7 days from retirement.
Oh yeah, let me go through this. Riggs thinks he can go ahead and disarm the bomb. He doesn't. Big explosion, opening scene kind of thing where the bomb goes off, and as the bomb squad shows up and all this kind of stuff. So they're demoted to patrol. So
do people die in the explosion?
No.
Oh.
No. The building was already clear, but the building completely demolished. The building comes down. But so they're demoted to patrol, right? While on patrol, they witness an armored car robbery and get into a car chase. Roger is 6 days from retirement. So the night before the bomb goes off, totals a whole building. Maybe an hour later, you guys are demoted. Next day, 8 a.m., you're on patrol in your blue. Like, that is a quick turnaround, man. Because the scene opens up with them saying 6 days from retirement and busted down to a patrolman. It's like, that's it. You blow up the whole building and not even a day off, not any
suspension. Yeah.
Nothing. You're busted down to patrolman. Okay.
Cool. No investigation. No.
All right. I'm with you. I do recall never thinking about that though. Like that felt like at the first time I was like, wait a second. First time I think I felt like I caught that. Anyway, so they witness an armored car robbery, and they get into a car chase, like an armored car chase. And Roger is 6 days from retirement. They introduced armor piercing bullets and a rookie cop character in the same scene. So now we know how this expendable character will die. So basically it's very much like, hey, these can kill cops. And he points out this kid, hey, you better watch, be careful, really point him out.
Just like spray paint a target on him.
Pretty much. He's wearing a red shirt.
Yeah.
Rene Russo is introduced as an internal affairs sergeant. I love Rene Russo, and I think she's good in this. I like the character she plays. So she was a highlight throughout the movie. Rene Russo is introduced as an internal affairs sergeant investigating the same guy that was arrested from the armored car robbery, and are both trying to see the suspect in the interrogation when they start to argue and decide to go talk to the chief. So they are in the elevator. Riggs kind of instigates a little thing with her, and they go up to the desk and they both say that they're looking for the same guy to interrogate, and it's the guy from the armor car. So they see that they're here for the same guy. They put together, she's from internal affairs, wondering why do you want to talk to this guy, and vice versa. So they leave there and go into the elevator and go back up. Right when they walk away from the desk and get in the elevator and go up, the main bad guy, Jack, whatever, he comes walking up to the same counter and asks to see the same dude. And so just like a second later, just the timing, just like, you got, like, come on. It's like, okay. So after a 5-minute argument between internal affairs and Riggs and Murtaugh, they get reinstated as detectives, giving them the ability to interrogate the armored car robber. These are homicide detectives trying to interrogate an armored car robber. Okay, makes sense. Even though then he gets his,
but they're the best detectives.
Yeah,
and Riggs has only got 6 days left.
Yeah, they're basically busting down the patrolman for about an hour and a half. The robber is dead in an interrogation room when everyone finally gets down there, and no one is shocked to find the dead guy in the room. They open the door and kind of like, oh shit, of course he's dead.
Again.
Yeah, it's like, and the whole time you hear that fucking saxophone, and
the saxophone. I forgot about
the entire time. At times I was trying to focus on, like, I'm wondering if there's like saxophone going on the entire fucking movie. But there were times of silence, but there's a lot of saxophone. So Joe Pesci as Leo Getz, real estate agent now. So he's a real estate agent and he's trying to sell Murtaugh's house because Murtaugh is going to be retiring and then moving because all the kids are getting older and moving on, whatever. Rene Russo, an internal affairs sergeant, carries her gun in the back of her jeans, like in the belt loop, just like Riggs does in the front. How real cops keep them in there,
Sure,
in their jeans.
They shoot their dick off if they have to.
And they make such an obvious, like, draw your attention to moments with it. It's like, you're cops, and that it's like you don't have holsters, you don't have like this,
Yeah.
Come on,
no department issued holsters.
Yeah, it's not that this is what you do. Okay. And she's wearing Guess jeans. I just happened to notice that very 90s reference right there, Guess jeans. So all that, Roger is 5 days away from retirement at this point. All this is going on. Roger takes Martin to some burger shack. So the next day, basically, they're reinstated. Next day, Roger takes Martin to some burger shack in LA where he apparently frequents enough to be allowed to come in and make his own burger. But somehow Martin had never heard of this place. They've been partners for many years by this point. It's like, how would he
remember having that exact same thought when I saw this movie going, that dude, like, he walks in, like, he hands over his apron, is like, here you go, have at it, right? And Riggs goes to town, and Martin's like,
and Martin is like,
Murtaugh goes to town. Riggs is like, hey, this is great. How come you never brought me here? And you're like,
yeah. It's like, yeah, exactly. And he's like talking about this burger he's making, like, just so focused on this. So while he's doing that, Riggs witnesses a gang-related transaction going down, and goes over and sees that there's 4 or 5 guys doing this drug deal, and he decides just to go around and just say, you're under arrest, by himself, just showing his badge and a gun. And that's a big thing I noticed too, that they like to draw and point their guns and say they're cops in that order a lot in this movie. And
some motorcycles or something.
Yeah, it just went up the street. And so that gets into a shootout to which Roger comes running, yelling Riggs. He does that a lot in this movie. He yells Riggs a lot. Comes out, gets into a shootout, ends up shooting ends up shooting one of the gangbangers because they're all gangbangers. And it turns out to be one of his son's friends that they made reference to earlier in the film.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So Roger goes on a bender while Riggs and Rene Russo investigate a tip on an office where stolen guns were found. They break in.
Internal affairs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Makes
They
sense.
break in. Riggs befriends a guard dog by getting on all fours and making noises and stuff like that. And this
It's
Rottweiler,
kind of like straight out of Crocodile Dundee shit.
in a sense, yeah, in a sense. Befriends this guard dog, and after a shootout and a fight, they manage to escape where they end up back at her place, exchange scar stories, and end up banging. Cut to Riggs going to Roger's boat to find him very drunk and distraught about shooting his son's friend. After they kind of like go, this is the real heartfelt moment where they yell at each other, and then they hug and make up and all this shit. Next scene is Boys to Men plays at the funeral. So How Do You Say Goodbye starts playing at this funeral.
Oh, not I'll Make Love to You.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that whole time. And my question there was, why is Rene Russo at the funeral as the +1 for Riggs? It's like this happened, I guess at this point, the day before. Yeah, this happened the day before.
And they're already having a funeral?
Oh, yeah. Things happen fast,
yeah.
man.
That's impressive.
Because right after this, I have Roger is 4 days from retirement. So they made a reference of how many days. All right. All three follow the trail of the illegal machine gun they confiscated from the kid Roger killed. So they showed these quick cuts of him basically going up and just Roger, usually the one that's more even keeled, going up and being really aggressive and threatening to shoot these kids or whatever in the face and all this stuff until they give up the next person on the chain, and everyone ends up through this form of intimidation. Everybody ends up in the LA subway system. Now, the rookie cop didn't even know that the city he grew up in and works in has a subway system. They make note of that. He's like, LA has a subway system? It's like, how do you not? I mean, I can imagine if some people not knowing that, but if you are a police officer,
So not if you're a police officer.
Yeah. If you're a police officer, for one, there's a subway system. And two, if you're an LA cop, you're probably from LA because no one fucking is moving to LA to be a cop. So
unless you're racist.
Oh, that's fair. I didn't think of that demo. All right. So now the bad guys are transporting guns by way of the subway system somehow while construction is going on and not found out. Like there's construction happening in the subway system, and then they're like just one track over, just loading guns and drugs onto like a car that's going to go up the track, but whatever. Let's see, next thing. Rookie cop dies by a cop killer bullet. So these cop killer bullets are bullets that can pierce armor, and he was behind a barrel drum. So the bullet shot through the drum, through his armor Kevlar vest, and killed him. So that's a powerful bullet. I don't know how powerful the gun is, but the bullet basically doesn't stop until it hits flesh, apparently. So Riggs chases the bad guy, who's an ex-cop, ex-dirty cop. Takes a cop's motorcycle by saying, "I'm a cop, call it in." Yeah. So he runs up, he's like, "Hey, I need your bike. I'm a cop." And he says something like, "Sergeant Riggs homicide, call it in." And he just takes off. And the cop is kind of like, okay. He's like not really fighting him on it. It's just interesting. And Riggs chases the bad guy, takes the most. Okay. Riggs is apparently a very experienced motorcycle rider because I don't know where he got his training, but damn, if he can't cut through traffic.
Special
And,
forces. They cover that. All of this
I
training
forgot that.
happened
Special
because of his
forces.
special forces training. Yes.
Yeah, in Vietnam, right?
Yeah,
All right.
I think it was Vietnam. Yeah.
Ends up falling over. Oh, that's right. So he chases them on the freeway, basically in LA. He ends up falling over an unfinished section of a highway overpass. Falls through 5 floors worth of wood, dislocated his shoulder, but Roger is there somehow. And they regroup and find out where the bad guy will be because Leo finds out. So Leo, being a real estate agent, and kind of like someone who knows a lot of people, recognized this guy, and so knew his name and found out what his legitimate business is, and it's building this like housing development somewhere in the outskirts of LA. And so they all end up going there. Or Roger and Riggs go to this housing development. So basically, it's all like basically framed houses. So most of them don't have walls. There's framed houses. They show up there, and to find out where the bad guy. They go straight to the housing development somewhere, and Rene Russo shows up because Leo told her where they'd be. So Leo happened to be at the same place. This doesn't even make sense. They leave. They leave to go to the housing development, right? They leave. They don't want Leo to come with them, so they shoot the tires in his car so they can't follow. They show up at the housing development to show up, right? Bad guys all around. No one. I would imagine you would. Coming up this one street of your housing development, you probably know who's coming up your street. If you're a housing development and you have nothing but bad guys there, someone should be watching out. But no, they just drive up, park, get around the car, and start talking about what's going to go on. Rene Russo just shows up around the same time and says that Leo told her where they're going to be because he told her when he got back to the police station. How the fuck did he get back to the police station when he couldn't drive his car because he had 2 flat tires in time for her to show up at the same place at the same time? I had to pause the movie for a minute
Leo
at that
is
part.
A power walker.
Yeah, maybe the police station is just a lot closer to that development.
Yeah. I was just like, okay, the time doesn't add up, but whatever. No one sees 2 cars drive up separately while settling a huge illegal drug deal, but okay. Riggs drives a truck through all the framed houses while leaking gasoline, and Roger ignites the gas, causing all the houses to burn. So he's just rolling through, knocking through, baseboards and shit, and just, dragging this gasoline all the way around. Basically just one line of gasoline, but somehow as soon as it lights, the whole thing just goes up like it was all, lacquered. So then Rene Russo gets shot. Riggs kills the bad guy by shooting an armor-piercing bullet through the scooper of a bulldozer. So, I mean,
that pierces the shit out of armor.
Yeah, like not once, but like he had like a machine gun, and it just like, yeah.
Cop killer bullets, man. There's no explanation necessary.
Well, that's exactly what this guy's coming at him with a bulldozer, as you do, because those are the quick kills. Roger throws Riggs, and he says, "Riggs!" He throws him the gun, and he says, "It has cop killers." So he takes that, it's like a Uzi, shoots it, and then kills the guy, who apparently, when you get shot and you fall over, it turns the bulldozer off because it stopped, and then
it's got a dead man switch on it.
Yeah. Right. So then Riggs came around, and the guy said like go to hell or something like that. And then Riggs said something like you first, and then he hit like the gas or something, and then bulldozer kept going and went in and blew up, I think. Oh, no, that's what happened with the motorcycle when it went over the edge earlier. When it hit the ground, it just blew up as a motorcycle would do when it just hits the ground. I was like, come on, guys. So at the end, after that bulldozer, when he kills him, Roger is now 3 days from retirement. So this is all one day. I mean, this is a day. This has been a day. Because at 4 days, they at the beginning of the day, which must have been right after the funerals, when they started following the trail of where the machine gun all the way to killing the dude later that night. At the end of this, Roger decides not to retire, and somehow that means
There's
another
more movies to be made, man.
Oh no! But what's weird is because he's in the bathtub, and it's like the same thing as the beginning of the first one, where they burst in on him because he takes a bath in the morning before he goes to work. Apparently, I mean, this is a thing. So they burst in on him,
and the whole family likes to run in, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they all come in. They say happy retirement, and they have a cake for him, and then he's like, I decided not to retire. But what doesn't,
and they're just like, well, fuck this cake, and they throw it into the bath with him.
Oh, so you've seen it. Oh,
do they do that?
So, no. So they all support him, but what they don't make clear is that somehow that means that he's on the force for another 10 years. And it's like, that's what they kept saying. It's like another 10 years. Like, it's like, what? How's that decided?
There's no getting out. Like, it's like an
Stop
express
loss
lane. You can only get off in certain places.
Yeah, there's just cut
retire now, or I look at the calendar. The next retirement available isn't for another 10 years, buddy. Yeah. It's like, I don't know how that works, but whatever.
If someone's telling you that, they want you to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'll take retirement now. Thank you.
So then, after that, all the bad guys are dead, right? And everyone's okay. And it sounds like Rene Russo's character is going to be okay. Or at least it seems like.
They need her for the next movie.
Yeah. Roger and Riggs, it's like he shows up at his house. They're going to go off to work, and they're getting in the car. Roger and Riggs bicker in the final scene, asking the question, why are they friends? Because, like, Roger is immediately irritated with Riggs for no reason. And just starts giving him shit, and they just keep going back and forth. And it's like, what? Like, why? Like, why would these two people be friends if this is how they actually are together? It's still.
I mean, I guess we could say the same thing about you and Pete.
Oh, we're not friends.
Oh, well, then that solves that then.
Yeah. No, I'm not being ironic when I say any of those things. But no, it's just like, I don't know. I liked it. I like it. It's just looking at it with this eye. It's just like, it's hard to, like, dude, that was quite a week. I mean, that was a hell of a week. But thank God those homicide detectives showed up to the bomb thing, because when they fucked that up, that's the only way they would have seen the armored car thing, and then they would have got involved with that, which turned into a whole nother thing. So,
and then IA going out on fucking external investigations.
Yeah. So now the fourth one, I know they do kind of start acknowledging their age a bit in that one. So maybe I'll make it a little bit more believable. But I remember that kind of introduced Americans to Jet Li. So,
is that what did it?
I think many Americans had already seen Jet Li for other stuff. But
really, I thought that was kind of the first thing. Like, he was kind of coming out party.
Was that before like Crouching Tiger and?
Yeah.
Was it?
It was also before
Crouching Tiger.
Okay, I thought that was like way more recent, maybe in my mind. Number 4.
He was in Crouching Tiger. I never saw it.
Isn't he in Crouching Tiger?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I did see it, but a very long time ago. I don't remember who was in it, if I'm being honest.
It doesn't
matter.
matter.
And this was before Romeo was dying. I think that's the other thing that he was.
What about The One?
This is before The One. So anyway,
I was joking. No one watched that movie.
So anyway,
but yeah, Lethal Weapon 4 was his first thing, because Romeo Must Die was after that.
Romeo Must Die. That's what I meant.
Yeah, and then The One.
Yeah.
And Cradle to the Grave.
Oh, that's right. Cradle to the Grave. Yeah. So Joe Pesci in this one, man. I mean, he's good in his character, but Jesus Christ, his character is annoying as fuck. It's like
no, Leo's character is always annoying.
Yeah, I mean, it was
he plays
annoying in
him
the
well,
last
but
one.
he's still an
Oh,
annoying
but great, yeah.
character.
So the next one is they're gonna introduce Chris Rock. I remember that's they give him a sidekick.
Oh boy.
So all right.
So cool. So you've got one left. I've got one left.
Yeah. I might be spinning a wheel next week.
You got
I got two left. Maybe I'll try and get through just so I can spin with you guys.
What's Pete got?
I don't know. Pete got something, but he hasn't done anything.
He
with
finished
it.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
What did he get next? I don't know. We were so awestruck by Alex getting High School Musical.
What did he get? Oh, I guess that bugged me.
He got something tolerable though.
Yeah, he did
it was
get something
tolerable.
And
But
did
not great.
He
at the
didn't
same
start it.
time.
He didn't start it.
No, he hasn't started it
It
yet.
wasn't Police Academy. It was like almost Police Academy on the wheel.
Shit. I'll think of
Guess
it.
we'll have to go
If
back.
only we fucking recorded this shit so we could figure out what he did.
Yeah, one of us is gonna have to go back and listen to an episode.
I'll think
to
of it.
figure
I'll
out.
think of it. Go ahead.
You'll text us at like 3 a.m. It was this.
No, I'll blurt it
Mhm.
out second I remember it.
Okay.
So, but go ahead with High School Musical, please.
This won't take long.
Yeah, no, please take your time. I want to
No,
know. I
yeah,
want to
yeah,
see it.
no. Let's savor this.
I want to see it. I want to see it like Paranormal Activity 3.
You won't. Let me preface this by saying I've never paid attention to a movie less. Like, I genuinely couldn't give a fuck the entire time. Like, Sam and I were having full-blown side conversations that I missed huge chunks of the movie. I don't
But
care.
I'm not watching the movie.
No, it was on, and I glanced every once in a while to make sure it was still on track, and I was like, yep, the same shit's still happening. Because here's the thing. Every time a song happens in that movie, it doesn't matter. Like, what they're saying in a song, they've typically already said with just normal words, and the song just repeats that over and over and over and over and over in song form. So the first thing I thought when this movie started was, wow, this looks like a fucking Hallmark movie in the worst way. Like, I was like, this is awful, like the way that they're doing this. And then about probably 15, 20 minutes into the movie, there's like a quick fade to black and a fade back in. And I was like, oh, this movie was like a TV, like straight to TV movie. This was not like a theater
The
movie.
Disney Channel, yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea because I literally know nothing about these movies. And I was like, that's why it feels like a Hallmark movie, because it basically is one.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you very little about this, and there's honestly very little to say about it. I don't like musicals to begin with, and this did not change my
What?
opinion.
All those Tony Awards, and this is what you think, huh?
I will say, I can understand why Zac Efron has a career now, and
Mission Impossible.
no one else does. Because
It
he
is Mission Impossible.
is actually pretty okay, like as far as his acting chops are concerned, especially for how young he was in this movie. Like, he actually has good delivery for his dialogue and reactions on his face other than constantly smiling or sneering like some of the other people in the cast. And I was just like, okay, I see how you got a career, so good for you. This movie's unfucking bearable. I hated every second of it. I can't even.
Have you seen the South Park episode?
No, I haven't. I haven't
You
really
should
been up
watch-
on South Park lately, to be
Well,
honest.
it's an old one. I mean, it's an old episode.
Oh,
You
then
should-
maybe I have, and I didn't even realize what I was watching.
Oh, I
You
think
should-
I think I've seen it. Yeah.
You should go back and
Yeah.
I'll find it and send it to you because you'd probably really appreciate it.
South
now.
Park is on one of the streaming services,
Hulu,
right?
I think. I think it's
Is
on
it Hulu? Okay.
or maybe it's HBO.
No, it's HBO. HBO.
Oh,
Max.
HBO.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I could check out whatever episode you want.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Speaking of something that is on Hulu, as a side note, really quickly, Kevin, I found Charlie's Angels. It's on Hulu.
The new one?
Which one?
Yeah, the new one. Remember, I said if I found
yeah.
it, we'd have to watch
Oh,
Yeah, we should.
Oh.
We should.
it.
What's this
So-
we? Like both of you?
Is
You guys-
this
Yeah,
going to be
that's
a
fine.
try and
That's
get
fine.
it done this week kind of thing?
Uh,
You-
maybe if there's not much else. I mean, the only other thing is Suicide Squad, but that's at the end of the week. So
Yeah.
You tell me when you're gonna watch it, and I'll watch it. I'll do it.
just make sure we do it before the next week.
Yeah.
I'm just getting it out of the way, man.
Why?
Well, first of all,
Get it out of the way.
Jasmine and Bella are pretty, so that's fine. But and the other one is too, I guess. I don't know her name, but I just want to do it. Yeah. I don't know why. I'm just in the mood to, because like I said, or I don't remember who even said it. Like even watching a shit movie, at least one. I think David, one good thing will come out of it, which is we can come here and just fucking rip it apart.
Shit.
Yep.
So I'm fine with that.
Man.
I'm having to watch these High School Musical movies anyway, so I might as well just pile it on. Anyways,
well, that's up for you, yeah. But yeah, so Pete has Mission Impossible.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
High School Musical is about high school students who are doing high school things, and sometimes they sing about them. The end. Like I don't really know what else to say about it. It's really uninteresting. It's incredibly predictable.
So remember, let's see if I remember. Zac Efron plays a kind of like an athlete, a kid athlete.
He's like a star basketball player, yeah.
But he wants to be in the drama. He wants to be in the plays or something.
Well, he doesn't know that he wants to be in the drama. So here's the fun thing about this movie. He gets like selected randomly at the beginning of the movie alongside that's Vanessa.
Hudgens?
Is it Hutchins? Yeah. Okay.
Hutchins.
So
is that like, Hudgens? Is that right? Yeah. Hudgens.
I don't know.
Hudgens.
So Hudgens. Okay.
Hudgens.
So they're both at a party they've never met. It's like a random karaoke thing. They both get pulled on stage. Turns out they're both amazing singers, and neither of them really even knew. And I'm like, that's not how singing works.
This sounds like me in college. This is me in college.
And none of the rest of us knew either, and we still don't.
Yeah.
I kept
it very quiet.
Yeah, they got up there and they sang, and everyone was like, "Wow, you guys are really good." And then it turns out that she transfers to his school, and hijinks ensue, and then
it was like Grease. That's Grease right there.
Sure, yeah, and I mean, but it's like none of it is good. Like I said, Zac Efron, genuinely impressed for his age and how good he was at the time. I was like, all right, dude, like respect. But no one else, like Vanessa Hudgens, the entire time, no matter what kind of emotion she was supposed to be feeling, she had like this smile on her face, and I was like, this is awkward. Like there's not a lot of good acting going on. The songs are, some of them are just straight up atrocious. Like there's a song where they sing something, it's like a gotta get our head in the game or something like that. I don't know if that's the name of the song.
Let's sing it for us real quick.
I just did. Believe it or not,
he sang us that song once or
twice.
I'm sure he did.
Almost. Wait now. If he did it before, he's fucking doing it right now. Right now, as he hears this.
That's almost literally no exaggeration. The only thing they say during that entire song, just you got to get your head in the game, but they say it like a song, and it's like, what is this? Like.
I am actually disappointed that you're reviewing this without Pete here, just because I can't. We don't get to see his excitement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Well, he'll have 2 more chances to defend these bullshit movies. I'm wondering actually, did the second and the third one go to theater, or were they TV?
No, I think they were all direct to Disney Channel.
Disney.
They were big Disney Channel.
Yeah.
So you can definitely.
You can definitely tell that they care a lot less about these products than the ones they put in the theater. Like it's incredibly noticeable.
Well, I think the subsequent ones get better. I think they get more money because I don't think they expected this really one to take off.
I can understand why they thought that.
Well, they put a shit ton of these things out. So my daughter was in the pocket age for this one when it came out.
Sure.
And these new Disney movies came out like once a week. Once every other week, and we, of course, had to watch.
They did the zombie one too, the zombie high school, whatever too.
Yeah,
with the girl from American Housewife.
There's a whole bunch of them, and some of them take off, and like the Descendants, they turn into
that was a big deal
show, and then I remember when this happened. I think I somehow managed to avoid watching this one because I don't remember any of it.
Yeah,
it's incredibly unforgettable. So even if you did see it,
I would have forgotten it.
I wouldn't have blamed you for forgetting literally every single thing about it. It's a shitty movie. And I might be a little.
Well, you're definitely not the demographic for it, right? Like
Well,
at
that's
all.
for damn
You don't
sure.
even have kids. Like
I don't
there's
have kids.
no
I don't like
reason.
musicals. I am no longer in high school, and sometimes I enjoy watching things that are based in like high school because it reminds me of like the good times I had in high school. This did not do that. So I have nothing good to say about this movie except for Zac Efron was pretty good and his career makes sense.
Well, was that was kind of like his first thing, wasn't it? Or at least
that's what I mean. Yeah, this was his breakthrough role, and I get why. Like he was pretty solid. I don't know if he actually sings his own parts. The lip syncing to the singing is like a joke. It's like an absolute joke.
I think I just heard or read something that the first movie, that's not him singing, but he sings in the subsequent ones.
Okay, I'm curious to see how he actually sounds because I know he can sing.
Yeah, well, he sang in The Greatest Showman. He sings.
I haven't seen that.
That's good. That's a good.
I've heard good things.
Yeah. If you don't like a musical, though, you won't like it, but it's good.
I can appreciate musicals. They're not my preferred viewing experience, but like, so I can watch it if it's good. But because it didn't sound like the tonation of the voice for the singing parts. I know people can sound pretty different when they sing as opposed to when they speak, but it was like way off. Like I was like, I don't know that that's him. It sounds kind of weird.
It sounded like Barry White.
Yeah. I see trees. No. I know that's not Barry White. But fuck that movie.
Well, you got two
End
more.
of review. Hey, you guys just said they got better. Maybe you're trolling the hell out of me right now, but
no, we said they put more money into them.
Yes, we put. We're not saying they got better. Yeah, they just put more money into them.
At least I can hear him actually sing. That'll be a plus, I guess. We'll see if.
I mean, when you're saying like better, I'm thinking, are you talking like who was the better Daredevil? Because I mean, that's Ben Affleck.
Obviously it's Ben Affleck.
We figured that out earlier. Yeah. We totally figured that out.
There's not even a competition, really.
Yeah. Why are we supposed to? Why? Who's revisiting that? Kevin, did you say that? Did you say like who's the better Daredevil? Why is it? You must be tired because we already know who's the better Daredevil.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Not up for debate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I won't be talking about that movie anymore now. So we can move on.
You'll be talking about the second one though.
Yeah, I know, but not this one. Not this one anymore. It's done now, forever.
But here's the thing: it's hilarious. Is that I do remember from the South Park episode is that in that one, his the main character, this kid is forced to be in drama, but he really wants to play basketball, but his dad forces him and pressures him to stay in drama.
So it's like the opposite of the movie.
Yeah, it's exact. Yeah, it's hilarious. So you should watch it. I'll find it and let you know which episode it is.
Yeah, I will have a larger appreciation for it for sure.
For sure. All right. Well, I guess that's the end of this episode.
You gotta talk about Ted Lasso.
Talk about Ted Lasso.
Oh shit! I always forget. All right, Ted Lasso.
I haven't seen a single episode, so I'm gonna get some water.
Oh, you haven't seen like even from the first season?
Nope, I haven't watched it at all.
Oh wow. Okay, bye, Alex.
That's amazing.
I'll be right back. I'm just gonna get some water. But yeah, I've heard good things, and I will watch it at some point, but I just haven't got around to it yet.
That's crazy.
Okay.
It is crazy.
We'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
We'll wait for you.
Yeah.
No,
I would argue.
Please go ahead.
This is the best show on television.
We'll wait till you get back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So
it's pretty damn close to it. Yeah.
So the best show on television. You think?
Comedy.
Yeah.
I would say.
I really do think so. Right now.
I mean, Schitt's Creek was the bar that was set, and Ted Lasso, I think, is, now that it's starting its second season, feels like it's meeting that bar. It's great.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. It's the style of comedy that I don't know. I feel like the heart and the comedy. I feel like it has more heart than comedy.
That's true.
You know, if that makes sense. Whereas like the other ones have a little bit more comedy than heart. You know, or like the laughs are a little more.
I would say heart is pretty much what this show is.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
So I
mean,
think
I love
that's
it. I'm a
bread and
fan
butter.
too. It's really good. It's just, it's a show that I think, I wish I had, I probably will, is kind of just stream through the season because I feel like
It'd go quick too.
Yeah.
It's worth doing. I've done it twice actually, because the first time I watched it, the whole first season was done. So my wife and I just mowed through it like in nobody's business. And then we rewatched it with my daughter like maybe a week later. And amazingly, it was still funny, which I thought was pretty impressive because typically the jokes don't land again, but they did.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm very impressed with this show, and I do find quite a lot of it funny, mostly because Ted's making terrible dad jokes the whole time, which is
it's not over the top humor, right? It's pretty subtle humor. Like it's all his. It's smarter humor too. His jokes are very kind of even keeled. They're not crazy. One thing I love. There's a scene it's near the end of the first season when he's running out the door of her office and he jumps up and he hits the shit out of his face on the on the archway. He jumps up and hits his face and hits the ground. That actually, like, that was real. Like he really hurt himself and like I think he wasn't knocked out, but he spent some time in the little nurse's office after that. But it's good. Like, in the new season feels good.
Yeah.
You know, like it picks up right where the other one left off.
Yeah, I liked the whole pundit scene.
Yes. I love Roy Kent anyways. He's so fucking funny. He's just so grumpy.
It's funny. I saw him before in a series that Ricky Gervais did, Derek. He plays he comes on a few episodes, plays the boyfriend of one of the characters on there. Totally different characters, you know, clean shaven.
Really?
And so when I saw him on this, I'm like, God, he looks familiar because he wasn't, you know, such a prominent character on any other show. But yeah, he's hilarious in this. We have to turn on the subtitles though, because the wife can't. She's not good with the accents. And so
they get a little thick.
Yeah, especially that one soccer player that the hot shot that comes back gets booed off.
Jamie Tart.
Yeah, Jamie Tart.
Oh yeah,
he's a hard one to, you know. So, but yeah, it's a great show. It's fun. It's, you know, I almost wish it was already all out, you know, but yeah, the wait, which is fine. A lot of other shows are starting to come out soon, so that's gonna, you know, try to keep up on these. We're still, you know, yeah, there's a lot coming back.
Well, yeah, and then Marvel's about to take off, so they've got What If is coming in 2 weeks. And then Shang-Chi is in September. And then it goes nuts because you have
Marvel's about to take off, and then these two, then it's gonna go nuts.
They have like
ballistic.
It's gonna get real.
They have
sexy.
Like 6 or 7 things between now and the end of the year.
Super serious.
Shang-Chi,
super serial.
I'm super
I have
serial.
a raging clue right now.
That's such a big clue.
The Hardley Boys.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with Marvel.
Yeah,
which
is fun.
And they announced Hawkeye is
back
coming
to
out
work.
this year.
Yeah, Hawkeye.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
And
for
also, Pew mentioned that she's excited to be part of that as well.
Yep, she's going to be in that.
So
yeah,
because if the post-credit scene set her up for, you know, almost being the big bad in that series. So
because we didn't there. I don't think we knew that she was going to be a part of that before Black Widow came out. I think that was kept pretty hush hush.
No, they kept that pretty quiet.
Yeah. You know, which is great.
So that's cool.
did it. I think we finished.
Oh, we're done then. I guess we have nothing else to talk about. We ran out of tape.
Yeah.
All the words stopped coming on my prompter. Did it all go blank on your prompter too? I had nothing else left to say.
Yeah, Pete.
It wasn't my
Sure, it
line.
was
Oh,
Pete.
was that the space we were holding for Pete?
Yeah.
He's gonna cut the show off right there. He's not even gonna pay attention. We're just gonna stop talking.
He's like, that's where the
no
dead air
outro
was.
music.
End of
Nothing.
show. This is all gonna be the outro stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you've listened this long, thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Next week, I guess, besides the next
Suicide
episode of
Squad.
Ted Lasso.
Suicide Squad is going to be the big one for sure. I am going to try
The
to.
Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
Whatever. I might try to see Green Knight if we can do a $5. And
I recommend it.
like that.
It was really, really good.
It looked pretty cool. It looked like.
I have to look at the preview again.
Yeah, I think I remember there's been a couple different trailers. The first one was okay, and then there was another one that made me more excited. So there's a couple of them out there, and one's better than the other. So
Yeah, I don't remember which one I saw, but I was pretty much in. And I think Dev Patel does a really nice job.
Yeah.
So I'm fairly sure. I mean, I would be really surprised if you came back and were like, I hated it.
I don't think
you
I
might
will.
come back and be like, yeah, I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
But I truly loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoy those kinds of movies, though, like the ones that are, they kind of like let you sit there and like absorb and think about what's happening, and they don't always have to like be talking at you or telling you things like Pan's Labyrinth or like Ex Machina or other things like that, like the kind of quieter, smaller films. But it looked cool, and I like medieval shit, so that's two good check boxes for me.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get a chance to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Alex, do you like Kristen Wiig?
Yeah, I don't know if I feel any particular way about her. I haven't really actually seen her in that much because I don't watch SNL, and I haven't seen
Bridesmaids.
I actually haven't seen Bridesmaids, but I've seen her in a few other things, and she's fine. Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what you think about Star and Bar Go to Vista Del Mar.
My wife's been wanting to watch that, so now that it's on Hulu, I think that's probably in my near future.
It's funny. I think Star and Bar Go to Vista Del Mar.
Okay.
It's fun. It's just a kooky comedy. It's but there's times when I was just like laughing. I was laughing at the just like, this is the joke they're making. It's obviously just like it's just funny. It's just funny that they came up with this idea and put it in the movie. That kind of, so it's worth a watch.
You said Kristen Wiig, which made me think of something else, and that's that the newest Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer that just recently came out. I saw that today.
Okay.
Before Jungle Cruise.
Is it on the big screen? Oh, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I saw before Jungle. I can't guarantee your theater will do the same, but
it's potentially out there.
Yes, it's out there on the big screens, and this trailer made me more excited than the last one did for sure. The last one was pretty good, but this one, like,
cool.
They show you a lot more of like what the movie's actually about, and it I was like,
cool.
This looks really fun.
I was excited about. I've been excited about for it to come out as it is, just off what I've seen so far. I mean, fuck, Paul Rudd. I'm like, okay, you got me in the theater now, regardless of what's going to happen after this.
Yeah. But I am not like, I don't not like it, but I'm not like a huge Ghostbusters.
That's true. Yeah, you were the one that.
I've seen them, but like they never were like, it's not my generation. It was a little before me, to be fair. Like I wasn't quite old enough to appreciate them when they came out. To be fair. But I like them, and this new trailer made me really excited. So it did its job.
What about you, David? I know you have a fondness, a slight fondness.
I have a super fondness. I'm having a hard time with this because I feel like up to this point, this has been the football, and Lucy has soundly had her hand on it because they just keep pulling the date. And so I have a hard time getting excited for it because I've been excited too many times at this point.
So it's not so much like the content that's bumming you out. It's the fact
I am
that you
super stoked to see the film when
Yeah.
they actually fucking decide to release it.
Yeah. Okay.
Whenever that day is and whenever that day comes. But I don't believe it. Like, I truly don't believe it. Just because they've done it to us too many times already.
Yeah.
Like beforehand, we have a Ghostbusters club.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Ghostbusters.
the Trump impeachment. I totally just
No.
thought you were talking about a Trump impeachment.
So I don't know why that would
I'm
be.
all for it, but it'll never come.
So yeah, so we have the Livermore Ghostbusters, and we had set up with the local theater to like promote the film and you know, be there in costume and whatnot. And
Nice.
it was gonna be super fun. And you know, of course, now who knows what's gonna happen at any point. So I don't know.
Right.
It's coming.
I think the
buddy.
content
It's coming.
looks like an amazing film.
It has a
looks
release
fun.
date now, doesn't it?
It does.
I think
November
I
11th.
think it did. Yeah. I think it did.
November 11th. There you go.
This will be its third release date.
This is it, buddy. This is it.
We'll see.
Yeah, hold out hope.
It's up to
Yeah.
that Delta variant. It's up to the Delta
Yeah.
variant.
True.
So I went to the big Ghostbusters fan fest that was a couple years back. And we got to chat with Jason Reitman, like face to face chat with
Wow.
Jason Reitman. Super nice guy. Like
He's a director,
left
right?
us- yeah, he
Yeah,
left
he's
us
the director.
feeling.
He
Ivan
wrote it. He
Reitman's
wrote
son.
it too.
Yeah,
didn't
he wrote it, directed it. Ivan Reitman was there too. We got to
Oh,
we didn't
that's
get
cool.
to talk to Ivan Reitman
Yeah.
because he showed up late. The reason Jason Reitman was talking to us was because we were all in line to take a picture with him and his dad. His dad was so fucking late that he finally was like, I give up, and like walked down the line and talked to everybody in line in person,
Oh, that's cool.
which was pretty cool.
Cool.
So after hearing him talk about the movie and kind of the process, and like then there was a panel with him and his dad, and like the two of them were bawling by the end of the panel. We were just super stoked. And then when the first trailer came out, really quite excited as well. So I mean, I know that Jason Reitman has stated that over the course of the pandemic, he's had the opportunity to rework it a little bit. And that could either be really cool or it
That could be
you know,
dangerous.
it could be the Star Wars special editions. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, the new trailer impresses, and it looks really fun.
it does.
So I don't know if anything has been changed for it or if there's new shit, but everything I saw, I was like, I could definitely see myself seeing this in the theater. Like it, and like I said, I'm not the biggest Ghostbusters guy, so it's a thumbs up for me for sure.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest, but my buddy Nesto is. So
Yeah,
I will
he
be there
is.
opening night in costume, proton pack, and everything.
I'll come as Slimer.
We do have a good Slimer costume. Although the last person to wear it sweated in it quite a lot. And
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
like you can run it through the laundry. So
Hey.
Nope. You just stick it in a box, and that smell gets trapped for however many years you keep it in there, and
yep.
You just stuff 6 hot dogs in your mouth.
on that
right.
note,
Yeah, Kevin, are you still awake? You're fading,
Barely.
buddy. You're fading.
yeah,
You
let's,
know-
let him, let's let him go to bed.
Seriously, if two of us were to get into just like a conversation for like 5 more minutes, I would just sit here watching him doze off.
Just-
Watch him slow.
Just to
fall
keep
asleep.
just to keep that white noise going as he nods off.
But we got to keep
All
it
right.
just vague enough that he doesn't want to get involved. Like if we go straight DC, he's going to start chiming in.
Oh, that's
we
it,
got to keep it
Yeah.
something he doesn't care about.
Yeah.
All right, we'll let you go to sleep there, buddy. All right, well, thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Next week, we'll have some more things to talk about, apparently. Maybe we'll be spinning a wheel and seeing what our fate holds for the foreseeable future. All right, adios.
Everyone remember it's the Suicide Squad.
Jesus.
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
And I didn't realize there's a reboot in that.
It's not even that it's a reboot. It's just a standalone because he's not making another one.
Yeah, he's not. It has nothing to do with the other films either. It's just the same actors for the most part.
Yeah, that's the weird part.
Kind of like Joker. They just let him do his own
It's because
thing.
DC doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
No. Good night. Look at him. He's awake. He just had like a Red Bull.
You just saw him take one of those Starbucks drinks and like, let's talk.
It's like in that in Always Sunny when they're faking their death with the poppers. Like,
oh yeah,
that was his right there. DC.
With the gun.
Yeah, because DC doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
Now that he's all hyped up, let's
triple caffeine
he can't
shot.
sleep.
Yeah.
Quick, Wonder Woman, 1984.
Don't
I
even.
feel like we're gonna wake up to like a photo of his murder wall where he's connected how all the plot holes could have been fixed if they'd have just made these 5 different changes.
It's just strings everywhere.
Strings everywhere.
It'll be his
Post-it
conspiracy
notes.
theory. It'll be his conspiracy theory on how Ben Affleck isn't the best Daredevil.
Yeah.
It's all right here. They're not listening. They're just not listening.